The Boss DC-2w Dimension C. Let's check it out. A quick disclaimer. Boss did send me a demo unit of this pedal, but no money changed hands. This is not a promotional video. I can say exactly what I think about the pedal. All right, the Boss DC-2w is a chorus/modulation pedal, and it combines the sounds of the old, now vintage, Boss Dimension C pedal, along with the even older Roland Dimension D rack-mounted unit. The pedal is super simple to operate. You'll see 4 buttons at the top that control varying modes or combinations of modulation depth and rate. And beneath the 4 buttons is a switch that allows you to change from the Dimension C mode or voicing to the Dimension D voicing. And of course, a bypass switch. Super simple. Here's my clean tone, and then we'll get into some sounds. First up, let's listen to quickly the 4 Dimension C tones. Here we go. That's mode 1, and when I turn it off, you kind of lose the dimension and spaciousness of the sound. Now listen to the modulation depth and rate. It's pretty light chorusing. Now let's go to mode 2. And the rate, to my ear, seems to be about the same, but the depth is a little deeper depth. Ha! Pretty cool. Mode number 3. Yeah, and we're back down in the depth. It's not quite as deep, but the modulation rate is faster. Mode 4. And the rate and the depth at this point are faster and deeper. One of the cool things about this pedal is that you can combine any 2 modes together. So I'm going to combine 2 and 4. Here we go. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Now, one of the things I've noticed about the pedal is if you're running, obviously it's kind of focused at running in stereo, but if you do run it in mono, some of the modes actually phase cancel each other out, at least they seem to my ear, and you end up with a tone that almost doesn't have any chorusing going. So do be aware of that. Let's switch over to the Dimension D mode. And here's, or the Dimension D voicing. Here's mode 1 of Dimension D. Let me switch back to Dimension C. As you can hear, the Dimension D mode has a little more top end, so a little more sparkle, if you will. Let's go to mode 4. And just like the Dimension C mode, Dimension D mode has the varying modulation depth and rates that kind of progress as you go from 1 to 4. And you can also combine, oops, there's 3 and 4 for Dimension D. pretty cool. I really like that. I like the concept of chorusing that is relatively light. That's just me. If you've listened to Chords of Orion music here on the channel, you'll probably notice that I don't use a full-on chorus pedal all that often. And part of the reason is that I'm not a big fan of that warble within the heavy chorus sound. So this kind of light and fluffy chorusing is, I don't know, I really like it. Now, what does this sound like with some distortion? Let's check that out. All right, I think the verdict is pretty sweet, pretty cool. So this could actually take the place of a doubler. There are several pedals on the market, as you may know, that kind of double your tone. This could definitely take the place of that doubler. Now, what about delay? Well, that's a good question. I've got a delay queued up. I'm not going to tell you which one it is because it doesn't matter. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, and I've just got that dotted A thing going. Let's add some dimension C. Actually, it's dimension D mode, but here's what it sounds like. Yeah, that's pretty cool too. I can see a lot of uses for that. So what about distorted leads with delay? Well, that sounds pretty great too. I've got the Dimension C voicing and it's mode number 2 dialed up. Here we go. Dang, I wish this pedal would have been around in the late 1970s. I never could afford that original Roland Dimension D rack mount unit. It was just out of sight for the band I played in. But this thing, I think it really captures the essence of both the older Dimension D and the Dimension C Boss pedal. So the question, I guess, is, does it have any downsides? Well, I don't think so. However, if you are a heavy user of choruses, if that's kind of integral to your sound, you may find just the 4 switches or the 4 buttons a little limiting versus variable knobs to really tweak in the level of modulation depth and rate. So for example, you really can't do modulation rate in time with the tempo of your song. So that's a definite limitation. But from my perspective, as I mentioned, I don't use chorus all that often, and this light chorusing modulation that just gives you more width, for me, is really useful. And I think for someone who's running, say for example, a 2 amp rig, this could be really valuable. It could sit at the end of your signal path and just go from, your pedal board left and right out into left and right amps, and you would have an amazingly wide tone for, I think that would work with a variety of different styles of music. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to Chords of Orion. I've got ambient guitar-related content coming each and every week, and I've got a link here to my music, Chords of Orion Music, if you're interested. I'll see y'all on the next video.